Hey, what up, guys? It's Mitsuownes from Germany. In today's video, I am in Stockholm by Fast Travel Games, and joining me today is Oskar from, once again, Fast Travel Games, the CEO, actually, and I have some questions for him. First of all, tell me a little about yourself. What did you do before VR, and yeah, what made you create content for VR, obviously?
Sure. Yes, so my name is Oskar Burman. I've been working in games since the mid-90s, console game, PC games, mobile games. I worked at EA Dice with the Battlefield games. I worked at Avalanche Studios with the Just Cause series, if you ever played them. I worked with Rovio, with Angry Birds. So I've been around, on different platforms, but all since my childhood, I really wanted to step into those worlds that you kind of create on your computer, and we finally have the chance. So obviously when VR started to move again, I felt like I had to get in there somehow. I have to be, on the frontier line there and work on games. So some 18 months ago, we started Fast Travel Games, me and a couple of colleagues from EA Dice. And yeah, since then we've been working on Apex Construct.
And it's well, spoiler alert, it's a great game. So yeah, talking about VR itself. So what about the game? What makes it unique? Tell me about the mechanics, maybe. So why should people out there pick up Apex Construct, if you may?
Yeah. So one of the things that we felt when we started building games for VR is that there's not so many longer experiences in VR, like proper games, so to say. So that's one of the things that we wanted to address, like make a game that you wanted to come back to day after day, basically, and that had some kind of dramatic journey that you wanted to come to the end of. Then obviously there's lots of challenges with VR, like the UX is completely different, so we took our time and did a lot of prototyping, and we came to the conclusion with this bow and arrow gameplay that you played, that was a great motion for VR. And we've seen a lot of bow and arrow games for console and PCs in the past, but when you actually do that motion, it feels fantastic. Like it really feels like you're there in a different way than it does on a flat screen gameplay. So that was one of the things we found with working with the game. Another thing is that we wanted to create a pleasant universe that had depth, that you could keep on exploring and that you wanted to return to. So, we didn't want to have like Doom kind of like gray and dark brown colors. We wanted, it should be kind of an exciting vacation in a way, like a universe basically where you wanted to step back and try to explore. So yeah, so that's kind of where the game came from originally.
All right, so you mentioned it. You want to create a game that is not just an experience. I mean, especially I specialize in PSVR. We have a lot of titles that are 20 minutes long, an hour maybe, like especially like ports from like the Samsung Gear or something, like old things, and they still charge us $20 for it, which is like insane. So what makes the player go back and want to play Apex Construct?
I mean, just coming back to what you said there, for us it was super important to actually create a game from the ground up for VR as well. I mean, we've seen a lot of ports, and that doesn't give the best result. Like when you start to design for a new UX and a new platform, you need to build for that platform only to really understand what it's all about, what's fun on that platform, etc., etc. But what's going to bring you back, hopefully, there's a 50% mix between puzzle solving and action in this game. And hopefully what we've created is a universe that has a narrative that you want to keep exploring and keep understanding what's going on here. You're put into this kind of post-apocalyptic world where you have kind of a voice talking to you, which you don't really know what it is in the beginning, but you're going to realize that it is an AI that's speaking to you. And there's also that voice is talking about other stuff happening in the world. So you kind of in the middle of a conflict here, and you really need to try to understand what's going on and why there's no other humans that you're meeting. So that's kind of the plot for this game.
I mean, I still have to figure out, am I human or am I myself? Am I a mixture, a hybrid? I don't know. So obviously you touched on that you've been in games for like forever. it was like, yeah, obviously you've done.
You sound really old here.
That was not my intention, but you've done it all, like mobile, console, and all of that, and it's been obviously a dream for you to make VR a thing. So, what is VR for you personally?
So for me, it's a way of experiencing computing from the inside in a way. Like stepping into those worlds is kind of magic in a way. Like you know, the stereoscopic viewing is one thing, but I think the most dramatic change for us as game developers is the UX, is the actual way you interact with the world, where you actually see your hands, you can do stuff with them, and the precision that you have is like, you know, it's not comparable to, you know, mouse and keyboard or touchscreen. It's so precise, and that means that you start to behave in completely different ways. I mean, one of the things that you realize when you start developing for VR is that you want to interact with everything. Like if you see something standing somewhere, you start pulling it, or you see a drawer, you want to pull that drawer out. If you would see that in Call of Duty, you would that's just a flat screen, you know, it's just a texture somewhere, and you know that you can't interact with it. But in VR, you start trying to interact with everything, and that's coming from those controllers. So yeah, for me, it's a different way of experiencing games, and that's what's making so hard, but also so fun to work with.
All right, so obviously you care about VR. Fast Travel Games is a VR only production and a team, as far as I understand that. So hopefully we can expect more stuff coming from Fast Travel Games, but let's just focus on this title. It's still not announced yet. But so since hopefully you are eager to create more VR content, what would you say to all those devs and publishers who have yet to like touch on VR and maybe think like, hey, it's just a gimmick like other technology, maybe it's going to die out in a year or something? What would you say to those people who do not dare to touch on the world of VR just yet?
I mean, I'm a super strong believer in that VR is going to be huge eventually in the future. Whether that's going to be in a couple of years or in 10 years, I don't know. I think it's going to happen faster than we think. And I think if you want to be part of that future, you need to start learning now, because it takes a while to start understanding this UX and this new platform and build great stuff for it. I usually use that comparison to mobile, whereas when the mobiles, you know, the iPhones came, a lot of people starting to port experiences from PC and console to the mobile, and the games were just awful. You know, they really didn't use the nice stuff that you had with mobiles, like touch screen. And then when people started to build games from ground up for portable for mobiles, then, you know, Supercell came and Rovio came and built those unique experiences that really take advantage of those platforms. And it's the same with VR. Like, you have to be there. You have to start exploring, understanding, testing, and then you're going to be ready when this market explodes.
All right, so jump on the bandwagon, before it's gone, right? All right, so Epic's Construct is coming for PSVR first, as far as I know. So when does it release?
It's launching on February 20th. And then we have the PC version coming for Vive, Rift, and Microsoft headsets on March 20.
March 20, ladies and gentlemen. So that was a quick briefing with the CEO of Fast Travel Games. Oskar, it was a pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much for having me here in Stockholm. It's a beautiful city, and we are going to explore that together. Yes. Hopefully just as the game itself, Epic's Construct. Looking forward to it. But with that being said, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Mitsuownes signing out.